Okay. Um, we're talking the Munster movie. So I don't know why it's so funny to me. But it's the year 2022 and Rob Zombie said Munster time. I have so many questions about the production of this film. First off, who gave him the rights to do this? One, that's like my main question. The other one, why did he do it? The other one, who is this for? Another thing I want to ask, why did this get made? Now, I just think it's like we live in an era where every single property gets rebooted and established and relaunched and all these things. And I guess the Munsters does fall into like two categories of like horror, adjacent, and existing IP, and classic television. So I guess there is something to be done there. I just think if you were like the company, I think it was NBC that owned this, but they're like, this looks weird, we're giving it to Netflix. I just think it's fascinating if you're NBC or whoever owned the rights to the Munsters. You're like, you know what? This is a property we could do something with. It is the Halloween season. What if Rob Zombie made a movie? And why would you make it like this? I want to get this out of the way really quick. I actually enjoyed this film. It's kind of made specifically for me because I know what it's doing. It's like one big sketch comedy with a bunch of doofuses making bad jokes and weird costumes and really silly camera angles. It's not to be taken seriously the slightest. I just can't imagine being like a top producer that owns the Munsters and you're like, yes, let's do it, you know? Netflix has Wednesday coming out. We should do something like that with the Munsters. And they're like, well, Rob Zombie's kind of known in the horror community. I'm sure he'd do something fun. But Rob Zombie's like, yeah, actually, I've seen all those original Munsters, and I think it's kind of a funny comedy. So I'm going to make a prequel to that show. This is the part that I don't understand why they let him do this. This is a prequel to the Munster show, showing how the family came from Transylvania to Mockingbird Lane. It's like, who's this for? And look, you ask anybody under the age of 30, some of them will know what a Munster is. You ask anybody under the age of 20, none of them will. The Munsters is so obscure and specifically of a time period that some audience members don't know what you're talking about. I'm a really weird, neurotic kid, you know? I know what this is because I have a huge crush on Lily Munster, and I'm not ashamed of it. So I know what the Munsters is, but I don't know any of my friends that could go into a single thing that happens in a single episode of the Munsters. I don't know what this is for. I guess for the hardcore fans, but then you got to imagine, like, did they want something like this? And you got to imagine, was Rob Zombie just given the green light to make something he wanted as a passion project? And I think that's the case here. First off, this film will not be for everybody. It can't be, and I understand that. This is made specifically for people that know what the Munsters is, that know how weird this is, and are willing to play the joke up. It's not to be taken seriously. I can already tell some people are going to be like, oh, this is so lame. And it's like, this is intentionally made to be lame. That is the whole point of what we're doing here. And because of that, I bought into the world. It took me a minute. There are some moments where I'm like, oh, this scene is a really long joke I'm not really liking. But then there's other scenes where I'm laughing my ass off. There's specific jokes I love. The portrayal of Herman in particular is, I think, next level insane comedy. It's just so try hard without feeling try hard, if that makes sense. He's going for every big punchline, setting it up so huge, and then becomes knocked down in just this weird thing that's happening. This movie's insane. Like, I'm of two thoughts in this way. I'm like, how the hell did this get made? And I'm like, who wouldn't want this to be made, if that makes sense? The fact that it's 2022 and this is made, I think it just goes to show you that you can really get away with anything, can't you? Like, the jokes are so corny, so lazily cheesy and dumb, but that's the point. I don't think there's a bad person. Actually, I don't think there's a single person that's portrayed badly. Every character is portrayed exactly like you want them to be portrayed. And I think that's great. Herman, awesome, very funny, getting a lot of stuff done there. The Count will be the one I think a lot more people relate to because it's more like a dry humor with him. And Lily Munster, I think, is the most interesting one in my opinion because it's Rob Zombie's wife who is playing her, and she is going for a certain thing. that thing sometimes becomes very annoying and her voice kind of follows in this weird suit for a little too long. But you like the character, you buy the relationship they have. Like, that is like my favorite part. It's like when Herman met Lily. That's kind of the plot of this, and it's just an instant like connection of these two souls finding each other, and like, this is it. We're doing this now forever. This is our connection. I like that a lot. I also like the little subtle references to other creatures in the monster catalog. I think that looks really cool. Again, it's intentionally cheesy. The colors are intentionally bright and weird and wicked in some ways. Don't take this seriously, please. And I just think it's like an hour 50, and like, I'm like, you stretched this joke out for that long and made it a real movie. And that's the part that kind of like weirds me out, where I'm like, if this was just like 90 minutes of Zombie doing a weird Munsters prequel, I'd be like, yeah, you got a tight 90 here, man. But the fact that you tried to stretch this out for so long, I feel like this was supposed to be a bigger deal than it was, if that makes sense. I feel like the reception of this was so mixed and confused because that trailer did not sell this for anybody, myself included, that it just did a bad job portraying what was going on, and then everybody got scared and it kind of got shelved. But I'm not saying this is something you should have seen in theaters, but I would have went to a cinema to see this because it's funny, it's weird, it's so specific, if that makes sense, in its humor and its delivery, and I think it works every time. It's cringy and corny and dumb, but that's the point. Everybody's doing great. You know, Cassandra Peterson, the love of my life, shows up in this for a bit, and she's fantastic. It's really funny. They have a Creature from the Black Lagoon reference. It's funny. It is so of a time where this shouldn't be what we're making in terms of our franchises. But I'm glad this exists, you know? If we could do this, like, this to me is like where we should kind of be heading more towards those things. Don't give me like a dark, gritty reboot of like Riverdale or Teen Wolf. Give me this of those, you know? That's kind of what I want to see. I was surprised by this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's brilliant, because it's not. It's easy, it's cliched, but that's the point. The jokes are silly and fun. The characters go hard into the behavior of these people that it's almost annoyingly funny. But it looks good. It's shot exactly how Zombie wanted it to look. It's doing exactly what he wanted it to. And the fact that I can sit here and openly talk about it and be like, hey, the Munsters are back. That's kind of cool. Will we get a sequel? No. Will they ever talk about this again? No. It's just going to be an obscure piece of Munster history that now exists in our world. So if you are interested in that, a prequel to the show from before all of us were born, there you go. How did the Munsters get from Transylvania to Mockingbird Lane? Well, Herman sold the house because he's dumb, because cousin Lester... Now, is it not? Would it be his brother-in-law Lester had to pay off his gambling debts or something? It's so dumb, and so specific. But I like that about it. I can't say this is bad. I can't. It's just really weird that it exists, and that's awesome. I like that more than anything. So, the Munsters, available everywhere you watch your movies. I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.